What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk Movies podcast. I'm your host, Brian Drolet, and last time we dove deep into screenplay structure. But this time, it's still the beginning of 2023, and I realized there's so many exciting movies coming out this year. It seemed criminal to not highlight all of these and get you guys hyped up. I know I'm excited. So let's jump right into the best of all the upcoming movies coming out this year. First up, it's been in theaters, but it comes out in just a week on January 27th. It's Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. In this movie, Steven Spielberg, for the first time ever, gets personal, and much of the story is about a young kid named Sammy that's loosely based, or maybe strongly based, off Steven Spielberg. And it kind of peels back the curtain on how he got his start as a filmmaker, what was going on in his life as a kid, and without spoiling anything, the character playing the young filmmaker figures out a huge secret that could destroy the entire family through his filmmaking. I saw the movie, I liked it. I thought it was a little long, if I'm being honest. Anytime a movie gets to like near the 3-hour mark, I don't know. When I was younger, I used to really love long movies, but not as much as, I don't know if I just don't have the attention span for it. Having said that, it's a really good film. You should definitely check it out. If you're a filmmaker, it's a must watch. And it's awesome to see where Steven Spielberg puts the camera. He's still at the top of his game. Also, this is the first movie he's directed where he was a part of writing the screenplay since 2001. Go check out The Fabelmans, currently in theaters, but coming to a streamer near you January 27th. The next big movie that people have been talking about that's been getting award buzz for Brendan Fraser is The Whale. Directed by Darren Aronofsky. He actually said when he was looking to cast this role, he was looking for a huge name that had kind of fallen off and was in the shadows, if you will, and needed or was searching for a career comeback. So he was looking for that. Enter Brendan Fraser. I don't know why. Apparently Brendan Fraser went through some really tough times, maybe a divorce. I know a lot of physical abuse from all the action movies, a lot of pains. He was traumatized from somebody at the Hollywood Foreign Press apparently groping him at an award ceremony. But really good to see Brendan back in movies. We love you, Brendan Fraser. We love your films. You're such a likable person. So really can't wait to check out this movie. He plays a 600-pound man suffering with severe obesity, grieving a partner, and dealing with his 17-year-old child. Definitely check this one out. It's out now in the US. In theaters, so check out Brendan Fraser. Coming out in just a couple weeks on February 3rd, we have the latest psychological thriller from M. Night Shyamalan. I personally love M. Night movies. I always enjoy his endings, and a lot of times people get disappointed. They're like, oh, this isn't as good as Sixth Sense. Listen, the guy takes chances. He goes for concepts that are very interesting in my opinion, and you got to check out his new movie, Knock at the Cabin, on February 3rd. Knock at the Cabin. Let me tell you something. First of all, we should stop going to cabins, okay? Bad things are happening. Cabin in the Woods, Last Cabin on the Left, now Knock at the Cabin. If you go to a cabin, just know some messed up things might happen at this cabin, okay? And if there's a knock at the cabin, I wouldn't answer it, okay? I'm just saying, let them leave you a note on the door if they really, leave you alone, let you do your cabin stuff, and then, you'll deal with them later, Mr. Knocker. In this movie, there's a family that's on vacation at this cabin, and then they get interrupted by a group of strangers. I'm assuming that's who knocked at the door. And the strangers tell them they have to make the ultimate sacrifice in order to avoid an apocalypse. Okay, you thought this knock at the cabin was going to be, can we borrow some brown sugar? No, I'm assuming you got to sacrifice your firstborn, and how does that work anyway? Like, what do you mean there's going to be an apocalypse if I don't make this sacrifice? I don't know if it's sacrificing, but I assume, the ultimate sacrifice would be, sacrificing your child or something to a god. But it's going to be a real hard sell for me, okay? I'm more likely to become a Jehovah's Witness than to go along with these strangers at the door. But tune in, February 3rd, M. Night Shyamalan's new psychological thriller. Dave Bautista's in there, big fan of his, very funny guy. We also have Jonathan Groff and Rupert Grint. So that movie's coming soon. Now, moving on from the psychological thriller, people gonna murder you when they knock at the door and you're trying to sleep movie, we're gonna move on to something a little bit more fun. Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man movie. Paul Rudd's back. This is called Quantumania, and this one looks really fun. And as you can see from the preview, believe it or not, they actually use a little bit of CGI in this. Or a lot. But it looks like a fun movie. I don't know. There's a little part of me that when I see this trailer, we've talked about it before, a little bit of a Marvel fatigue. It's like, how can you keep, and don't get me wrong, Marvel does a great job of reinventing their movies and having like different genres for films you wouldn't expect. So I am looking forward to it, but there is just a small part of me that's like, okay, again, like Ant-Man, but you know, I've loved every Ant-Man movie. All the old characters are back: Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Catherine Lilly. And that's coming out February 17th. So after you do something romantic for your girlfriend on Valentine's Day, you can have her take you to go see Ant-Man. You're like, hey, look, I laid out all those roses. Now let's go live in the microverse or the quantum verse. And she'll be like, okay, fine. Okay, so moving right along, another movie that I'm very much looking forward to is Creed 3. Creed 3, this time directed by the boxer himself, Michael B. Jordan. He is stepping into the director's chair. And just by looking at the trailer, I have to tell you, this movie looks phenomenal. I love the trailer, got me emotionally. The storyline was just very clear. Sometimes the best filmmaking is simple, clear, precise. He's got a childhood best friend played by Jonathan Myers who just got out of a long prison sentence, was apparently a boxing prodigy when he was a kid. And now he somehow is going to fight his old friend. And the scary thing about it is not only was this guy a prodigy, and is he jacked, this guy makes the Incredible Hulk looks like he needs to get in the gym, but he's got nothing to lose. So Creed 3, you know, I think it takes place like 7 or 8 years after the events of the last movie. I'm sure Michael B. Jordan's character is doing well, probably doesn't really need this fight, you know, much like in the Rocky movies, probably gets called out, becomes a pride thing, but it's just something he's got to do. But the trailer looks badass. I'm a fan of Michael B. Jordan. I met him once in real life. Really, really nice guy. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie. Comes out March 3rd. Go check it out. Creed, baby. Okay, March 10th. March 10th, guys, we got the next Scream movie. I've always been a fan of this franchise. I've enjoyed every movie. However, I did watch last year's 2022 Scream, which is just called Scream, which I find to be a little bit confusing. You know, you just going to call it Scream again. I think it was the 5th film in the franchise. Maybe 6, but no, I think that was 5. This is 6. This is an unpopular opinion maybe because I think the movie got like a 78%. I didn't love the last Scream, and I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it. But to me, who the killer was just so obvious, and especially if you've seen the original. Certainly wasn't a terrible movie. I do really like Jenna Ortega's in there, you know, from Wednesday Addams. And I liked everybody in the movie. Everybody did a great job. Definitely was not a bad movie. Just for some reason, I watched it on a plane. I wasn't that invested in the side characters. A couple of the deaths seemed a little random and like, why was that in there? And then when it reveals who the killers are, you know, there's always 2. It just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me. So I'm not as looking forward to this one, but hey, Hayden Panettiere's back. Courtney Cox is back. So maybe it's going to be enjoyable. I'm rooting for it. Like I said, I like the franchise. In this one, they go from Woodsboro, the community, to New York City. But apparently, Ghostface Killer, he can find you there in Manhattan. So look out for that movie, March 10th. Moving right along, guys. Okay, we've got a new Adam Driver movie. This movie is actually going to be directed by the 2 screenwriters who penned A Quiet Place, which is a phenomenal movie. So I think that bodes really well for how this, good this might be. Starring Adam Driver. And basically the premise of the movie, he's like a futuristic captain of some ship, and something happens with time travel where it crashes on Earth, but basically when dinosaurs, it sends this guy with future. It's basically the premise of the movie is the future meets the past. So he's got futuristic weapons, but he's in a prehistoric dimension, and so Darth Vader's prodigy against dinosaurs. And that movie comes out March 17th by the writers of A Quiet Place. So it should be pretty interesting, I think. And 65 stands for 65 million years ago. Okay, the next movie we're going to highlight, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is another Shazam movie. If you like the first one, you'll probably like this one. I believe the enemy in this one is the daughters of Titan Atlas, being played by Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren, and Rachel Zegler. I like the Shazam movie. It's fun. I'm assuming this one's going to be fun. They keep it moving, they keep it light. It's fun, it's snappy. It's not like the typical DC thing where it gets so dark. This movie was actually supposed to come out in 2022. It got pushed into Aquaman's release date for 2023. So let's see how the movie is. And by the way, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his character Black Adam, even though it's a popular enemy of Shazam, the director said he will not appear in this movie. So don't get your hopes up. No Rock. And again, that movie's coming out March 17th. Moving right along, the next big movie to come out March 24th is John Wick Chapter 4. That's right, John Wick is still pissed off you killed his dog. He is still coming after you. The movie's apparently titled John Wick 4 Hagakure, which apparently translates to, there's going to be a lot of killing in this one too. But no, it's actually the name of a book by Yamamoto Tsunetomo. It actually translates to Hidden by the Leaves. That's right, so you might be some mobster guy taking a nice stroll through the park. Oh, look at that, it's a tree. No, it's Keanu coming to avenge the death of his dog again. March 24th. Now, I was a big fan, if you guys remember, there's a movie called Game Night. It was a really funny movie. It had Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams. Well, the guys behind that movie are doing the first live, or I don't know if it's the first, but they're doing a live-action Dungeons & Dragons movie called Honor Among Thieves. Set to release March 31st. This movie, probably going to be funny since it's coming from those guys, I assume. We've got starring Chris Pine, Regis-Jean Page, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant. Who doesn't love Hugh Grant, right? But that's coming out March 31st. If you like Dungeons & Dragons, you'll have to check that one out. Now, speaking of nostalgic, iconic IPs, we have the Super Mario Brothers movie coming out this year. Voiced by Chris Pratt, I personally find that a weird choice. I don't know why Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario. It kind of annoys me, to be honest with you. I think it should just be like the most Italian, heavy set, funny, more comedic. I don't know. Chris Pratt, he's like in shape, he's jacked, and now he's a fat plumber with a mustache. But I'm still very excited. The movie looks phenomenal. If you grew up loving the Mario Brothers like me, I say Mario. I always get killed. People are like, it's Mario, it's Mario. Do you guys say Mario or Mario? April 7th, that's when that movie comes out, April 7th. Check it out. Other notable cast members, Charlie Day is Luigi. I like that a little bit better. Again, he's a funny guy. I don't necessarily think Italian, but maybe Day. Hey, Day. Ooh, I don't know. Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. Sounds funny. And Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Somehow that seems perfect. Another movie that I can't wait to see. Big fan of Nick Cage. Nick Cage is going to play Dracula in a horror comedy called Renfield. Nick Cage as Dracula with comedy, sign me up. I loved his last movie, The Massive Weight of Talent, or whatever it was called. But this looks really funny, looks really good. Hey, it's Nick Cage and Dracula. Can you go wrong? Set to release April 14th, guys, April 14th. No release date yet on this next one, but apparently coming out this year is a Joaquin Phoenix movie, Beau is Afraid, or Boo. Boo? Beau? Is it Beau or is it Boo? You tell me. Hereditary and Midsommar director Ari Aster is back to direct this movie. This movie actually used to be called Disappointment Boulevard. The main disappointment going on here is these choices for names. It is a surrealist horror that spans decades and takes place in an alternate universe. No wonder this guy's afraid. So he plays a paranoid, anxious man who has a fraught relationship with his mother. And he's got to embark on an epic journey after her death. I don't know. Doesn't really get me too excited, but apparently critics and people are saying you got to see this one. And Joaquin Phoenix is phenomenal, so you can't mark your dates yet because you don't know when it's coming out, but put it on your radar. Let's go to the next movie. This year we get another Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Set to release May 5th, and I know in this movie we're going to learn a lot more about the raccoon, played by Bradley Cooper. I always find these movies enjoyable. May 5th, check out the latest installment. May 19th, we have Fast X. I guess this is Fast and the Furious 10. They're still fast, they're still furious. I don't know, Vin Diesel's pissing off co-stars left and right is the rumor. But I'm sure the movie visually, I don't know how they keep topping these movies. I think the last movie they were in outer space. So, hey, maybe they'll be with Beau is Afraid in a different dimension this time. Just zipping through dimension portals. But that's coming out May 19th. Another Fast and Furious, Fast X. And by the way, Jeremy Lin is directing. He directed the last one. And all your favorite, other characters, Ludacris, Tyrese, Ludacris, they were all back. On May 26th, we have The Little Mermaid. We got the new Little Mermaid. Very controversial because they cast a black actress. I don't see the controversy, guys. It's a mermaid. It's fiction. Okay? Make Ariel black, white, Chinese, Indian. It doesn't matter. Okay? We're still having fun under the sea. Under the sea. I'll stop singing now because I'm terrible. May 26th, the new Little Mermaid's coming out. Oh, this year we get a new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, set to release June 2nd. And guys, there's so many movies. I'm going to move right along with some of these. Spider-Verse, can't wait to see it. But then on June 9th, we're getting into the summer now, baby. We've got a new Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts. Now, I know Michael Bay in these movies, they get a lot of crap from people, a lot of people very critical, but you can't deny the sheer size and massive scale and just the CGI, bigness of the Transformers movies. Dave Chappelle has a great bit. He's like, people nowadays, they'll watch a movie and be like, oh, that sucked. He's like, go back 60 years and show people a Transformers movie, their head would explode. They'd be like, how? And then the Transformers are just like CGI. It's a terrible impression of a Transformer. My apologies again. In Transformers, it's actually not going to be directed by Michael Bay. It's going to be directed by Stephen Caple Jr. He's capable. Stephen Caple's capable. Anthony Ramos and Dominic Fishback will star in this Transformers movie where these beasts are rising. It's actually going to be set in the 90s and based off something called Beast Wars, which is an animated series that was filmed from 1996 to 1999. Another movie coming out, an animated movie, looks very cute and adorable, called Elemental. Coming out June 16th. Looks like two friends that would be unlikely, fire and water. They're friends. We learn a lot of lessons. Hey, we're not so different after all. Directed by the Good Dinosaur director, Peter Sohn. And this movie was inspired by his childhood in New York City. Moving right along, we've got Asteroid City, Wes Anderson's latest movie coming out this year. Stars Tom Hanks, Jason Schwartzman, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, William Dafoe, and Margot Robbie. What's up, Margot? And this movie's about a scholarly competition that gets interrupted by world-changing events. So, look out for that one. No official release date yet. This year, on June 23rd, we finally get to watch The Flash. Listen, Ezra Miller, very controversial. I'm not a fan. I'm not excited about somebody that had so many headlines that were kind of scary, involving kidnapping and all this stuff. We've killed all these. We've killed Henry Cavill, but we still get this guy, The Flash. Now, the movie does sound interesting. He's jumping through dimensions, so we're supposed to get Michael Keaton's Batman, which is very exciting. We're also supposed to get, apparently, Ben Affleck. And George Clooney denies being in this movie, but he's probably in the movie. But it'll be interesting to see this movie, and does it tie into anything that James Gunn and the DC Universe are doing beyond this? I don't know. But after all the controversy and talk around this movie and Warner Brothers saying it's very good, I am curious to check it out, even though I'm not a fan of Ezra. Guys, probably the movie I'm the most excited about this year. We're getting another Indiana Jones movie. Harrison Ford, how's this guy still doing it? He's like 78, 80 something, I don't know, but he's still battling Nazis. He's still crossing bridges he probably shouldn't cross. You know, the trailer was really funny. You know, one of the most famous scenes in Indiana Jones is when, you know, the guy's got the whip and he's like coming at Indiana Jones. He's like, ah, da, 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 da. Indiana Jones just pulls out a gun, like, pop, and that's it. So in the trailer, it gets reversed a little. He's got a whip and all these people pull guns on him and he's like, and it was a funny throwback. And they're promising this is not going to be the dud that the last one was, the one with Shia LaBeouf. That one was like too CGI for people and too out there. So can't wait to see this new Indiana Jones. It's called The Dial of Destiny. Comes out June 30th, and it's going to be great. Now on to another movie to come out this year, Mission Impossible. Guys, I think these missions are possible. We got to change it. It's Mission Possible. I mean, Tom Cruise is going to do it. He's going to save the day. So, but still love to watch these movies. It's crazy that Tom Cruise always does all his own stunts, somehow topping himself every time. This next one's coming out July 14th. Mark your summer calendars. And this one's called Dead Reckoning. Next movie. Oh yeah, also this year, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. It's about the creation of the atomic bomb. The film promises to be explosive at the box office. Okay, so that movie is coming out July 21st, guys. Mark your calendar. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy. I've always found that an interesting name, huh? Cillian. Seems like the most unsilly guy ever. Couldn't get more serious than silly in Murphy. Because he's not living up to his name. Maybe in real life he's very silly, but nothing silly about the atomic bomb and Christopher Nolan's next big movie. Set to release July 21st. Now the next big movie, listen, I'm excited just because, you know, as a man, Margot Robbie, she's beautiful. And she's so talented. Like, in every role, she's just phenomenal. So how do you not like Margot Robbie and want to see Barbie? I mean, it's Barbie. And you've got Ryan Gosling as Ken. The style in which this is directed looks very fun and unique and just interesting what they've done with it. You know, this movie, there was a lot of controversy because I know Amy Schumer was supposed to be Barbie and there was a lot of backlash. Like, how could she be Barbie? I'm sure she would have made a really funny, great Barbie movie, but man, Margot Robbie just really, I think she's gonna be a phenomenal Barbie, and I'm excited to see this movie. Also set to release on July 21st. Gonna be a lot of good movies in July. July 28th, we have The Marvels, which is the sequel to Captain Marvel, so it's Captain Marvel 2. This movie is gonna be directed by Nia DaCosta, who did the most recent Candyman. I didn't love Candyman. I watched it. It really lost me, and so I'm not very excited about this. I didn't like the first Captain Marvel, to be honest with you. The actress who plays Brie Larson, I thought it was just a very flat, there was nothing very likable about her. So if you guys like Captain Marvel, the sequel, The Marvels, comes out July 28th. So if you guys were a fan of the first Captain Marvel, maybe you'll like this July 28th. Taika Waititi is back in the director's chair since he did Jojo Rabbit, doing a movie called Next Goal Wins. And it's about soccer. Michael Fassbender plays a coach. It was based off a 2014 documentary where he's tasked with taking the American Samoan international team and turning them from losers to winners. Hey, if you like Ted Lasso, maybe this is like that. That movie comes out September 22nd. Dune Part 2, Timothée Chalamet, also coming out this year. Set to release November 3rd. And then Timothée Chalamet has been busy. He's also going to be in Wonka. That's the only name of it is just Wonka. And that's coming out December 15th, Wonka. And it's supposed to focus on Willy Wonka's early days before he ever opened the chocolate factory. So that'll be interesting, you know. I'll just be walking around telling everybody, you know, one day I'm going to have a river of chocolate. And just people laughing at him, punching him in his stomach. You're an idiot, Wonka. And he's like, I'm going to show you. There's going to be everlasting gobstoppers. And they're like, whatever. And he's like, you're going to get big and swell up like a blueberry in my factory. And he's like, oh, I want it now. And I don't know what I'm saying, but Wonka, December 15th. If you want to see life before the factory, that's your movie. December 25th, we finally get the next Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. They finally found the kingdom, guys. James Wan returns as director. Obviously, Jason Momoa is back. We've got Dolph Lundgren in this one. And Wan, the director, promises a movie that's more mature, but yet still a lot of fun. So we're going to get, maybe Aquaman's paying his taxes in this one. He's like, man, I've been living underwater so long. I didn't realize I owed the IRS $10 million. But no, he's mature. Maybe he's got an aqua boy, aqua girl to take care of. But it's going to be fun. I'm sure it's going to be visually amazing. December 25th, the new Aquaman. And guys, I think in September, around September 24th, I forgot to mention, I think we're also going to get a new Blade movie. So that should be really interesting. Like I said, there's a lot of great movies coming this year, 2023. If you're a movie lover, you've got a lot to be excited about. So check back more on the Let's Talk Movies podcast for more information on all the latest movies that you can be excited to watch.